Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and today I am going to be setting up my Weekbook, which is not the hybrid, but this is twines and paper, just weeks size. And I'm going to be, at least for a good part, starting out using this one. I had used in this one, well, I'll show you, a paper test all this year for my health journal, like just planner journal. I don't journal in it. It's a tracker. It's like a really big tracker. And then I keep like important health things here. And so I do a few things in here, and I can't really show you exact things because there's like direct personal health information in some of these parts, but I'll try to flip to some areas. But I also keep like phone call records, and my son's health info, which fortunately has been pretty good, like minimal. There was a lot more to track in his past. Being autistic, we had a lot of therapy, occupational therapy to begin with, and now is doing fabulous. It's doing fabulous. So we're just kind of covering basics. So I had some areas in the back here. I used like washi tape. If you can see, there's like a little bit of a sticking out there, and I made several sections. So there's like 5 sections there where I had divided up like individual doctors, so I could like go back and see those. It was hard to find things because it wasn't labeled on the side. I thought I would kind of remember, but then I put the wrong tape in the wrong section. And then the phone calls were getting confusing about where I was documenting those. So, oh, and this is a card from Sterling Ink that I just recently picked up. I don't know, this was one of my favorites that I did not get as a freebie. And so I'm like, well, I didn't order any weeks, so I wouldn't have gotten this one. But definitely I wanted to have something on the front here. So that will go on top, on the front. And this, when I ordered this, I did buy a True to Fit, very shiny cover for it. As this one, I had to cut the back pages. The back cover. So I can slide this out here. Oh, the bookmarks are in here. That's why it's having some trouble. So on the back here, I had to trim this much, if you had watched my video from last year. And then it's fine. It's like, it slides in there. You never see it. When I archive this, it's not going to bother me. But this is a Hobonichi Weeks, and it was like, just wasn't fitting. It is thicker. This one's a little thicker. The one from Twines and Paper is pretty similar to the Sterling Ink one, I would say. It's kind of hard to tell them apart. Like, if I had 2 weeks ones, they might be just slightly different sizes, but they seem to be very, very similar. But anyway, so the back, I want to put some lovely Dandelion Diaries tabs. I don't use tabs very much, but I need them in here. I usually use the metal tabs to just get to like the 2 areas I need most of the monthly overview and then the week that I'm on. But back here, it was it was very hard to figure things out. So you've seen me do monthly setups here, and I do love how I coordinated that. And these last 2 are very cheery. I love how I put them in the middle, but then it made it really hard to put in my appointments. So I was looking back through these and going, like, do I want to decorate this next one every month? I don't think I do. I was thinking about it. I think I just want to set this up once, and it's nice to have it coordinate. And I think because I had the 3 planners, so I had an A5 vertical to like really track hours, but then I had the B6 paper tests all this year. I used the individual like day pages, maybe a third to a half of the way through the year, and then I just couldn't use them anymore. It was just kind of redundant. And so I don't really feel the need just using a singular planner for all like my main purpose things. I feel like I just want to decorate. It's a double spread because it's the A5 hybrid from Twines and Paper. So I want to just focus on just doing that weekly and not pulling out other planners. So, I mean, I love having kind of a theme for every month, but I don't think I want to do this. And I was very kind of sparse at the beginning. I kept it like really light. And I was color coordinating at the beginning, and I was just like, well, things change. But like I was keeping track of appointments down here, which got like really messy. But I just put a list of like when was the last time and then I would have like this whole box as the dentist. And so, and then like if I got x-rays or if I got something specifically done. So I was kind of just using these top boxes and then kind of putting other appointments down here just to look at the year at a glance, but they didn't coincide with each other. So that was interesting. I think because this has another section here. It has these 2 pages, well, 2 spreads, 4 pages, where I'm wondering about kind of tracking that information a little bit more. This definitely I want to have as like the quarter. Here's like the health things that I want to focus on, and then what happened. And it's not going to be like summary. I need like an area to put. So I have 4 areas. I'm really looking at this and seeing how much I can use whiteout on and reuse. So it didn't really, it didn't help so much to have, like you can kind of see it ghosting. I don't really want to put it, but it didn't really help to track individual appointments and then have a summary on the top. And then the other part, I will share this last week, is this structure of having like meals and then appointments and then kind of trackers over here. It works pretty well, and that's why I did get a backup paper test weeks, because I may just be like I need to stick with what I've known. But I did get started in here with mimicking that same kind of setup, but adding on some things, and then I just don't have to white out things. So instead of not whiting out things, I just draw a few things. Although I was looking here, and so I have like 3 boxes for every day. And then I thought, oh, that means I can like track 1 extra thing. And then every row is going to be, every column is going to be filled in. So I really I want to try this, but I'm trying to think. I don't think there's an extra week. Sometimes people start from the back and then just try out a week just to get their bearings. So I would have to use like this week, which is possible. Because usually by this week, again, I'm already going to be jumping in because the 1st is on a Wednesday and the majority of this week is in a new book. So I'm not going to be using the book from last year on that last week. So, but I'm making the video now. It's not like I can like track a whole week right this moment. But I also am fine with like iterations of like, okay, this is what I'm familiar with. So I'm going to start here and see that yeah, a couple things I've kind of moved around a little bit, but I really do like having the grid over here. Mostly in the appointments area. So you'll see here, there is a little bit of the grid on this side. Here, it's really faint. It's kind of hard to see. But the grid does exist. When I pull it up, you can actually see the grid there, but not here. And so that this side has always felt like a little messy. I do actually use the grid to like kind of put it in. Is it in the middle of the day? Is it later in the day? Is it earlier in the day? So, and then thinking about some other things I'm going to track down here. I set this, drew this out about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm kind of coming back to it and seeing how I feel. This, I think I want to keep the same. And this kind of has the same amount of room that I have in the other one. I just would normally decorate down here, but now I don't need to decorate. I would probably, again, this would be a planner that I don't decorate every week. And so I think that's kind of what's happening is I'm looking at this going, yeah, this is not a decorative project, but a tracker, just a really big tracker. So the number one thing I want to do is do some whiteout. I don't like these quotes at the top. I understand like what's important and kind of having a goal setting thing going on right there, but I'm grabbing my whiteout. It is bothering me. So I generally don't like quotes. I know the other planner company that I used, I don't use like tons. Also, if you see my scarf, this is like scarf I'm wearing right now. If you see it in the shots, it's just kind of like, it might be, see, it's making a presence. Its presence known here at the bottom because it's a little chilly. What's been happening is, yeah, I think the paper matches pretty well to, this is the one I usually use for sterling ink. And I'm just going to use it here. What was I saying? My ADHD brain here. It does match pretty well. Oh, quotes. Like Sierra of Moxie Life would put in some quotes. I don't mind her putting her own quotes in. Like, I would quote her any day, but some of the people I don't like. I think she was one who quoted Tony Robbins here too, and I just do not agree. And I think this quote is pretty basic as well. Like I no shade to Twines and Paper at all. I'm just saying like it's not going to motivate me. It's not. I have things that. Oh, I'm getting a little messy with this. I have other things to motivate me. There we go. I think we got back on track a little bit there. Anyway. Here we go. That's working. And it's already feeling better. I would definitely prefer... Let's see if I can get that a little extra off. Just no quotes, I think. Like you could put your own. So that's how it's blending in, which is much better than like on super white paper. Like I feel that's pretty good. It's not going to be perfect. This is not a perfection thing. This is to track my health. And I did want to talk about how to kind of approach a health planner, as in, do you really need one? Do you track things? Because a very common thing to that I've heard a lot is like, should I get a separate health planner or should I track it in my regular planner? And I think it depends, you know. that's the caveat, right? It's like it depends, but it depends on your health and what information you want to see next to each other. So some people say like, well, what information do you want to track? I have said for the past year, like since I've done this one, is what information do you want to see next to each other? And that's what I came up against. Sure, it was great to track like my water intake on my regular planner because, I'm using that all day, and it was a great reminder to drink water as I'm working. Sorry, this is getting a little dicey here. Let's see. I think I got it. It's not, again, not perfect. And it's not 100% covered up. And there's just some layers. Wow, this last one was not the best, but it's done. Done is better than perfect. So, I found tracking water next to my daily tasks did help, and I can still do that. I think once I get the hybrid, I'll have more space because the B6 I was using of paper test wasn't as big of a layout. It's a very similar like horizontal plus a bunch of grid space, but I'll have even more space so I could see tracking like just water over there and then transferring it over here. When I got diagnosed with a lot of things in the last 5 years, I realized I needed to see a lot of information next to each other and see how, like, even up here, how those things related to each other. I was having a lower energy day. Well, was I drinking enough water? Like those were like in the same column here. And that's what I want to replicate here. So it has been nice that when I make these lines here, I'm tracking two things on the top. So this is energy first, and let's see, I will go back a week. So this is what I do at the end of the week is I color code. Energy is yellow and stress is pink. And then sleep is the light blue, and the water is the cyan kind of there. And so being able to see like, hey, as I got more rest, I had more energy. Like this day here, this Saturday, I was so full of energy. It could have been, also coinciding with my cycle. If you saw here, I've had a hysterectomy, but I still track when my hormones fluctuate. And it was the first day that I get a little kickstart of, like, I'm really tired before my period. And then once it starts, everything kind of coincided there. So I do like to track those kind of things and like how much sleep I'm getting. And at the very beginning of this week, I got horrible sleep. It's partly due to stress and partly due to the heat being on, and I'm coughing more, and we're trying to get it because the air conditioning went in over the late end of the summer. Our heating got a little out of whack because we have a new panel that we're trying to average out, making sure that, the plan as the day progresses, the auto plan, I'll just say that. And then here, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do here yet, but I would love to do, like, I might even white out these months because it might be better to have like, here's what I want for the month, and then this is what happens. Like it just made no sense to have this totally unrelated here. I would rather move this information, which is the last I did things, which can be in different years. So like I would have like 2022, 2023, and 2024 when I last went to the dentist, because you can kind of squeeze that all in. You can have like, in that one, it was like 23 and 24. Like I could make 2 columns of just dates and saying when I got x-rays. So I kind of had a gist of when I had been seeing because I go 3 times a year. But then I would try to correlate that with what was going on down here, and it was just so confusing. So leaving these, having the months, and then really looking at this, I think I'm going to white out these months as well. I don't need to have like write out goals. My medical conditions don't require that. I could see that for other things. And I could always write goals for the month. I could write some things here, and I can kind of do some different tracking here. But I think if I really just use these as like when I last did things. So I'm just going to see, I'm going to white out these and see how it goes. It's the grid here is a little smaller, so I'm going to go this way so I'm not losing some of the grid there. But that's what you have to do, is kind of like look at the layout, see what information you want next to each other. And obviously, as I'm saying here, is like that information next to that information did not help. But this might be super helpful for you. So I wouldn't like necessarily suggest it for you unless you think that's a good idea. But I would love to have these structured boxes be something that I can track different things, especially my previous, because it could be like this is all of 22, this is all of 2023. 24 and 25, because having that much info for me is super helpful. And there is, you know, some months down here. I think for my infusions, though, every 8 weeks, my biggest thing is using this. So I think this will only be infusions. And if I write something down here, it'll be infusion related. And that's another thing, to just keep it really digestible and simple for you to, again, not have like, unless you are just using this. The only way I would consider having mixed information is if you're just constantly looking at one spread. Like if you just look here and then just look at your week. Oh, that's that's the pen test. And then just like go to your week. Like maybe this is important. And so having different information here, but that means you're skipping like the months, you're skipping other things. That's the only reason I would like combine information. I think that's then more of a dashboard situation, which can be super helpful. You don't want to be thumbing through and trying to go, where was that? So just having like 2 spreads that you're constantly looking at. Again, these are functional. And when you are with a doctor and advocating for yourself, I even got like super flustered this last week. I went to the dermatologist and I just basically needed a couple things. I was following up on something, and then I also just need a skin, like just all over, not test, but not specifically a scan because they manually do it, but like a skin check is what they call it. And because the meds I'm on are pretty intense on lowering your immunity, and so any kind of little tiny skin cancers can kind of get out of hand if they're just kind of sitting there. So, anyway, I went in there, and it's related to this Band-Aid. Dermatologists, they always have like what's it called? Aesthetic for like aesthetic treatments like laser, other, I don't even know if it's Botox or anything. Like I've never been to that side. And then they have the more clinical, how do I treat these conditions? And so I saw that there were 2 upstairs in this one building that pointed me there map wise. And I went there. I'm like, okay, I'm not aesthetic. So that's a weird thing to say, but let's see, just kind of push these down a little bit. So I went to the other one. They're like, oh no, you're in a totally different building. Like they had another building next door with more people. And so I had to race down. And in the process of that, one heavy door I jammed my finger on. And by the time I got there, it was pretty bad. And I'm like, do you have a Band-Aid? Like, I really need to take care of myself. Anyway, I was so focused on that. And then it's my dominant hand. And I was trying to get paperwork done and not get stuff on there without getting too graphic. And then, I was able to bandage it up, clean it up as best as I could, and then go in and sit down. And the doctor's like, okay, what can you give me the summary of what's up? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's also that my appointments got flipped. So I was going to do the skin check first and then do the other one. The reason why I'm saying all this is that if I had written some questions in advance and pulled this out and had my list of questions ready, I would have been able to kind of recenter a bit, but I was just really flustered. But that is why I have a whole separate one of these notebooks, is because things like that happen. You know, like I couldn't like be super vigilant and say that that would never happen, but I don't know. Even if none of that happened, I still forget about like what I'm going to talk to them about. So I just do a whole list. And that's what's going to bring me to this. So these tabs, I just want to put every 50 pages, and I don't know which section will be what yet. I'm thinking, I kind of counted this out before, and I thought, okay, every 50 pages would be pretty good. There's about 200 pages, and I want to keep it simple. Probably phone calls first, because when I'm looking for a phone call, I'll go to that section first. Insurance calls, any kind of calls. And then the next would be like my doctor visits, which will be interspersed. So it'll be a mix of different kinds of doctors, but I'm pretty good at putting like the date, the doctor, the time at the top, and then probably my son's, and then something else. I was trying to think, what would the fourth one be? So I don't need tabs all the way down. I'm just going to put a few here. And I really haven't used, I was going to grab it in the wrong spot there. I haven't used tabs really, the sticky ones, hardly at all. I usually use metal ones, but sometimes the metal ones slide around. So I thought, well, let's try these. See if I can get it started here. Come here, little sticker. Okay, so I grabbed it from the other side. And it's just a little attached in this area here. Trying to be gentle because I don't want this to split or anything. Here we go. It's just in that little corner. So the tab, sorry. And I also love, I love the sparkles on this. I've been a big proponent of sparkles. So I am just going to, I'm not going to go to the tippy top, but you line up the gray part to, let's see, I probably want to go here. This feels kind of comfortable. And line up the gray. I also want to try to make this more straight. There we go. And I'm sorry that you can't see this for a moment, but I'll show you in a moment. This is my first time, kind of doing this, so I'm instructing while I'm learning. How about that? But this is what I've seen. So putting that there, putting the gray right along the edge, like so. And then counting out my 50 pages. There's 50. I'm not going to be exact about it because I'm not keeping like an index. I'll just put that pen in there. And then lining these up. Because I might use these tabs on another planner as well, which is why I don't want to use them all up. I have a couple plain, but a lot of sparkles. So I'm not doing monthly with these because having all the monthly at the beginning. So this is where you kind of want to go, okay, it's lined up with those three. So I'm kind of wanting to be, so 1, 2, 3 above, 1, 2, 3 the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 is, this is where I want to line that one up. Right at the bottom. Like that. And then you can kind of see how they start to line up that way. I'll just go to page 100. This is making a good divider right now to hold those in place. Not that you need to. They're not going to really stick to anything right now. Yeah, kiss cut is hard. It's hard to cut through something very thin enough to get the sticker to go, but yet not enough to go all the way through. I understand. So that's why some stickers, like if your stickers are a little thicker, it actually is easier. Okay. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So here, and I just lost 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I believe. Let's see how this works out. And that's the thing, I'm not sticking them all the way down yet. I didn't think this particular setup video would be how to do tabs. It's not exactly what I was hoping. There we go. And then we'll do one more. At 150 here. Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Space. 1, 2, 3 is number 1. 3 is number 2. 1, 2, 3 is number 3. 1, 2, 3 is number 4. I'm going to put my finger there. And as I've mentioned, it's hard for me to count out. I think that's about where I want it. Count out squares like this sometimes because it just, my tracking can feel a little off. So this is when I kind of see like, hey, I think that top one needs a little extra space up. The other ones seem pretty good. Like this one could probably go up just a tiny bit. Or you could be totally fine with it and be like, yep, that works. So let me just move these slightly. Yeah, I see where it's down just a little bit. And these will always look a little off. There's no like perfection in these. These tabs, I've never seen, like I have seen some get pretty close to perfect, but like there's always just going to be placement. I think the one underneath this is just spaced up a little bit more, so I'm just going to, I'd rather them look more even on the side. Yeah, I'm just looking at it on screen. The top one is a little higher. Actually, what I'm seeing is like this is a smaller and then bigger gap. So, but when you're kind of tilting it, it kind of looks fine. So I'm trying to look at it like straight down. But like when you tilt it like that, see how they space out more evenly? And that's pretty much like the view that I will do it. So we're going to commit. We're just going to commit to these. I like where they are, and we'll fold them over. This was like the only planner that I was just like, yes, I definitely need some like permanent tabs on the side there. And yeah, to me, it looks like evenly spaced this way, which is kind of like I'm viewing it as an angle this way from the top. Yeah, the top one looks a little high, but that's fine. So I'll probably put like maybe a letter just to go, okay, maybe P for phone calls. Or sometimes it's easier just to remember 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's done. These are some really old sterling ink flags that I was thinking about using for my infusions because they are kind of far apart. I also have these sparkles that kind of match. So I was thinking about using those. And I also was trying to make this last decision of like what stickers I want for each month. And this fits better. Like this, as I mentioned, like these will fit in this column, like at the top. But then I'd have to white out that and then put this over there. And they're kind of small, which is fine for a small planner. But I don't think I want to go that way this year. I think I want to use these really big ones. And I'm thinking about putting them down here so that when I'm flipping through, I can see them down at the bottom and not constantly be looking up there. So, and as I mentioned, I'm not going to be decorating these. For the A5, I do want like a completely blank spread except for maybe a couple appointments to like decorate it so I can put things under the month name. But I was also thinking about just highlighting the top in different colors, just where the days of the week names are. But I really like these sparkles matching these sparkles, matching this. I kind of have like sparkles going on. And I'm thinking about putting in a little bit of vellum, maybe at the beginning of this. So I'm just going to commit because I think having the really big ones is just easier on my eyes. I have found that like darker text here is just easier. So I'm thinking like right here. So I'll do it like at the end, kind of still give that little buffer. And then I still could white these out at the top if I really wanted to. But I could also look at those as well. So I'm just going to commit. I want something easy to use. I want something that's kind of permanent. These are like I probably could, I don't know, it felt like I wanted to have it going down for some reason. I think it's because these are at all different angles. I'm thinking, oh, I want to put these at different angles, but do I? That's a good question. Do I want this more straight? Or are we just gonna... I want to see what it looks like more straight and see if that's what I want to do. Here we go. it is coming up pretty good. Just give it some time. In terms of a functional planner, yeah, I think I want this just a little more straight in here. There we go. It's still a little bit angled, but I like that a little better. There we go. So I'm just going to get these all on. I'm also going back and forth on, do I want to put any holidays in here? That's a little more straight. I'm looking at the sparkles, and these are a bit at an angle. They're just freeform a bit, so I'm just kind of eyeing them and seeing what feels good. So I do have, I'm doing a lot of dandelion diaries for this one. I do have this, and I think I want to put these, well, it's hard because there's another factor for the holidays that I can't really go into right now. I know that sucks, but I will say, like, if I end up putting holidays in here, I will use those because they kind of match in a way, and it's a little different writing, but it's her writing. So, and they are like more wide, so I'd have to like cut up some of these to kind of fit them within the day, which is fine. But I'm not going to do that on screen here because there are a lot. She put a lot on there, which I appreciate. But it also is kind of like, it'll take way more time than what I'm going to show in this video. And this is feeling good. So kind of glad I did this. I do have another couple sets of these, so I don't mind using them. I love her sparkle stuff. I'm just trying to think, what else can I do? I'm going to put the flags in for like, whoops. That was kind of angled up on the stickers, and so my brain was kind of thinking to angle it up. But I kind of want to do that. There we go. So I have a January 6th, and I believe, I'll count it out again, I think March 3rd is my next one. And I want to at least kind of get those situated in here. It's funny, I know the end of the year is coming, but it still kind of surprised me that, like, when I was going to put some more info in my health planner or one of the other planners, I was just like, wait, there's only, I think it was when I was doing the plan with me, let's see if I can say it, was that I was like, wait, there's only 2 more weeks in here. And it just, I've never really had this before, but I'm like, I'm not quite done with these planners. I feel like I still want to be in these planners. Yeah, so this will be, the base here. So we just have tabs and some months right now and some whiteout. I could put, like, if I put a little title here, I could put a little sparkle there. I am kind of wondering about like 22, 23, 24, 25, and then having like the 4 sections that kind of coincide with that. I guess it'd be mine, my son's. No, I think I'd have to do like GI, gynecology, which is like mammogram. And then I have a gynecologist, oncologist that I work with whenever I need something. And then yeah, I think it's going to be my 4 doctors. And then one of them, it could be eye and then dentist then. So those are like the 4 that I really pay attention to. And I think it would help to have like a whole year to refer back to. Because I was thinking, like, how much am I going to need this? How can I put this completely away? Can it be totally out of sight? So yeah, I'll think about using the holidays. I'll think about it. The other thing I thought about is I got these for free from something. I don't quite remember, but they were super cute. And I thought, well, these would be cute in a health planner. So, you know, I could put them kind of here in the beginning or maybe on sections, but I hadn't quite decided about that. So January 6th, let's put, and I hope my video isn't flagged for just even saying that date, but it's a date that I'm getting a medical procedure. There we go. So I have that kind of flagged. And then if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it should be 8. And I like that the numbers are not in there. It made that a whole lot easier to count. For a health planner, often you do have to like count weeks or count weeks in between things. Like, oh, come back in 2 months or come back in 6 weeks. That made it a whole lot easier to count. I think the previous one here, let me look at that month. No, it didn't have numbers down there. I was looking down here to see like grayed out. I think Sterling Ink might do it. I do have a Sterling Ink here. Let me look at the months on that. Yeah, so she has grayed out months. I'll give you a little sneak peek to possibly something I'm setting up, but she has grayed out numbers, and that makes it harder to get the weeks counted out correctly. So I have those 2 flagged, and then I'm trying to think if I'm going to just write like I just did here. I don't think a flag is necessary there. I think I want to just have the flags on the monthly. So then my next one, which I don't have the time set, skipped it, would be here. Usually I do them around 10 a.m., but we are going to see. So at least that's kind of penciled, as in erasable penned in there. What else do I want to do? I know a lot of people would be like decorating all over the place. Let's see, let that dry for a moment. I also have, I was considering maybe using these tabs, which are like clear and shiny. I think I'm going to use that somewhere else. I also have these self-care that I can use some doctor things. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this in the pocket and use them as needed per week, but there's not really much I can do like right now. I think that's all the stickers sorry, I have this one. So these are just tiny little flower stickers. I thought if I'm going to like decorate more in here, because I know this is like really plain. So my 2 thoughts are highlight across the top, even in a gray, that really nice gray that I have. Someone else was asking about it. I might have mentioned it's from this set, the pastel set, and it's the N95 here. Because they have like warm grays and cool grays. And it might just kind of anchor the top. But then I also was like, it'd be kind of nice to have different colors for each month. Do I put some... These are kind of like spring-like though. I don't know if I want to have like birds and stuff in. This feels then, it makes it feel like a little too more hospital-like. Like the flowers are there even though it's not coinciding to the seasons. There's something, growing up in a place that has seasons, I do feel kind of connected to that. And so it does feel weird. And that's why I've always kind of had a theme per month. My only other thought was to go through and use the same washi tape I used on my little passport and put that somewhere, like I could run it up the side. But I think if there's things I want to track, like I'm trying to think of what else I can, do I use these little guys just to kind of make it kind of cute? Let's see. I will be putting like these two like in the side. Like I'm just gonna tuck them and then have all the other same stuff in that. Like it will look just like this. It'll just be swapped out. What do I do here? Okay, so why don't I don't have stamps. I mean, if I had, here's the thing. Do I try to use like a fancy pen to do my numbers, or do I just draw it? Because I have these, and I don't think I could do these on camera. Do I? Like I could pick like one for each year. So I kind of have different colors going on. So this year, I think I would want to use green for this year. Let's see how bold I can get. The worst is, since these are permanent, I would need to white them out. Let's see, what's on the other side here? It's not the first week. So I'm just doing numbers. And again, I have not practiced at all to do calligraphy. So this is not it. This is not the thing to be showing for that. But I'm kind of thinking either in this area or the top area. Let's see how it writes over, because I can always like white out over it again. Okay. I'm just like writing as nicely as I can. Like that's, again, it's not calligraphy, it's just writing. So I don't want to use yellow, because that's too light, but I think I'll do, I don't know if I want a red, because red is kind of like warning sign. Oh, what about a purple here? So let's see. What would look good in 24? Maybe orange and then pink and purple. I mean, they all kind of are fine, but let's do that. So this is 24. Again, keeping it very, very simple. I might let that dry for a moment because it's on top of the, I don't know how quickly that's going to do things. If I don't like this, yeah, I'll just put the white out over it again. Yeah, it still looks kind of shiny. that could be just the stuff. I don't use these very often. Let me just wait a moment, and then I'm thinking, where could I put these? I'm thinking maybe like one on each page. I don't know. I don't know if that's the vibe of this, though. Would it make me happy when I'm at a doctor's appointment? Probably. Yeah, I want to see, like, if there's anything else I want to track on those pages. It's so plain. It's so plain. I could highlight one color per quarter, but these are not in quarters. These are in thirds. So like 1, 2, 3. So one spread, one spread, one spread. So the quarter would end here. So that is a little off. I might look at my stickers once more here and see if there's anything that would look good like the entire year. So I did find these that I have used a little bit this year, and they are just some little scenes. This gears a little more towards, it's not quite winter, but it's more gray, and this is more spring. So there is a little bit of seasons going on here, but I'm just wondering, I don't really have, I think I would rather kind of sprinkle these in. Let's see here. Let's get these two. So I used orange, right? Yeah, orange and green. Put that back. And then 2023. Actually, I feel like 23 needs purple. That's just what I'm feeling. And then 22 over here. Okay. That kind of like anchors it a little bit of just like what the purpose is. So, let's start here. And again, this will be my infusions at a glance, and that's pretty much it. I don't think I want to put any other, where to go? I mean, I could sprinkle in some of these flowers too, because they kind of go together. Where did is it in here? No, disappeared on top of the other thing here. I just want to sprinkle these kind of around throughout the book. And I think that's going to add a little bit of whimsy. Like, these are just a little too cute. A little too cute. Do I want something? Oh, I was thinking about the, see, now that might be too much. I'm also thinking of doing my A5 Slim. I'm going to put one of these in there, some of that in there. So I think I'll keep that there, if that makes sense. And then just have, I'm just going to grab things at random. So this is a little person in a sleeping bag looking at the stars. I kind of feel like it should be down here. Someone else painting. I don't know. This is feeling a little better. Just having like these little figures and little things sprinkled throughout. Let's see. This person is fishing. I like this little person who's just laying in the grass. And maybe put a little bit of grass and stuff next to her. Some flowers. Like that. Just need some tufts of grass. There we go. She's hanging out. And then this person dancing along here. Also with some flowers there. Okay, I'm liking that a whole lot more. Again, I'm just looking for little accents. It's going to make me happy to open that up. Okay. Now what I think I want to do here, let's just have some stuff at the bottom. So these are more gray months. So I'm going to put some trees. Here's a little camping scene. Pot on the stove. I don't know what that is, but it's gonna go right next to it. Little bushes maybe. Oh, these are little fish. And then this is kind of like the sky. Let's see. What is this person doing? Oh, she has some flowers in her hand there. So I'm going to put that one there and put a little bit more trees next to her there. I'm just kind of making things up now. Yeah, I kind of like it on that side. And then let's do the fish guy here because there's some other fish. So he's catching some fish here. And then there's some fish swimming by. Is that a sticker? No. Are those little footprints? Maybe they're footprints. Okay. I guess they're footprints. Sorry, my alarm just went off. Let's see. Yeah, I guess they're footprints that I can't use. Yeah, there's this whole like lake here. Maybe I'll put the lake on the other side. That. There. He's next to the lake. And he just put it over there. How about that? That's the story. That's the little story we have going on. Do that. Again, it's totally random. It's not going to be even. It's not going to be perfect. I just want to make little scenes down here that feel cute. And this person is hiking. Kind of among the trees, among. Like that. And then on this side, there's a person with binoculars. Whoa. Oh, that might be stuck down there. I was going to kind of switch up between the gray stickers and these, but I might just use these along the way or something. So that gets it through this far. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to continue stickering a little bit, and then I'll kind of thumb through, show you which ones I actually end up decorating with. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I went through and I used up all my stickers, which this makes me really happy. And that's what this is all about, right? So I love the look of all these little ones. Here, they're mostly all on the bottom, so I'll just show these like really minimal on these few pages with the years on them, so I can put in a bunch of information. And then a little bit more on these, because these are a little bit more like trackers. And then I started getting creative with it a little bit more. I put the little footprints here. I cut those out. Those are the only ones that... There are a few like tiny little graphics on there, but they aren't cut out. So I just used up what I had. So here's January and February. I don't know. This feels a whole lot better. And I feel like as I go through, now these aren't particularly seasons, but I kind of looked at the month name and kind of looked at these, and I thought, oh yeah, you know, people are just starting to kind of go out and maybe enjoy the weather in March sometimes. And then the April flowers come out. Definitely May flowers blooming. And then kind of June, everything's kind of getting green. And then July kind of being out and enjoying things. August kind of staring up at the sky, laying in the grass. September, going back to school, but I also just really like this pond there. And some late summer flowers. October was a little bit more woodsy here. Kind of starting to think about fall and like camping. I don't know if you go camping in November, but it just felt a little bit more like you're starting to go inward a little bit. And then December, I just found like as many evergreen trees, and these almost look like there's snow around them. And then kind of a night sky. So I'm not going to do anything on the actual weeks. There is a January. I'd like to leave those plain just to kind of keep myself oriented to, this is not the January I use. This is just planning ahead. And then there is like some blank space there. Something to keep in mind. You could always like write in when I last did things on that side. But I'm going to keep this how it is, because as I said, it's kind of a transfer of what I'm doing here. And then we're just going to see how this first week goes. Excuse me. And then see how I want to maybe switch things up. Because once I actually use it, I think like this area, I might move around a bit. I have thought, could I use it this way and have things go this way? It's a week. And so it's only like 7 that I'm counting. If it's a whole month, I could see it going that way, but it's not. So I think I'm going to keep it vertical. What really helped in this one was seeing the same information in the same place pretty much all year. I really didn't change anything up. So I kind of want to keep that going. But within the first few, like 2 or 3 weeks here, I feel like I can change things a little, and then to keep it consistent. And then, yeah, I'll figure out like what order I want these sections in the back. I might cut this out. And yeah, I think that's about all I'm going to have for the setup of this. So then I'll put this cover on. I'll put this in there and a couple stickers, and then just insert it in and swap it. So that is my plan for my health tracker planner, health planner, because I am planning my health through this. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think this is kind of in the way here, so I'm going to see how that goes. It will be, let's see. I'm just going to gently put this in. If I keep it in like the back, that could cause a problem. I think you could put that down like that so it doesn't cause a problem. Let's see. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and seeing some of the other setups I'm putting together. I'm still waiting on my A5 from Twines of Paper, but it is so close. So it got through customs, went through New York. It's now halfway through the US here, and I'm in Seattle, so it is taking longer to get here. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could have considered putting them down here so that the pen loop wasn't in the way, but I could try to move them, but I don't know. I'm more prone to looking for them up there. So that will be like so. And then what I can do that I have done is like hang my pen off the back here, you know, so it's not in the way. Kind of do it like that. Okay, so I actually ended my video and needed to take a break, and then came back to this planner to kind of finish it up. It felt like I wanted to kind of see how things did, and I had forgotten I had ordered this vellum from Dandelion Diaries, where all the other sparkles came from, and I was like, oh, why don't I use this? Especially because it's black and white. That's kind of what's the neutral theme I have going on. And it was sized for, I had sized it for my TN. And so I had to trim it down. But glad I had it, because I think this really does help to kind of like have it feel a little bit more finished. So the thing that I really worked on was this area. I need to go back and do I think I have most of 2023, and I was going back to 22. What I did was fill in 2024 so that I knew how to map out things and what spaces needed how much room. They'll probably, you know, each year is just a little different. I had a lot of shots this year. I probably didn't have as many the year before. And then 2025 will be filled in as I go. But it was really good to kind of see like how much information and how to display it. And at first I was putting the year on these, and I'm like, wait, the year's at the top. So I just kept it to the month and the day. And then, yeah, we'll see how this all fills out. But it's really good to see like a year at a glance instead of like a year this way. I have other plans for this. I may or may not share that because it might be kind of private, but I do have plans. So the other thing I did was I did highlight in the gray N95 here across the top of all of them. And I just wanted to put a little bit more sparkle here since they're here, here, and here. It's pretty much all Dandelion Diaries, as I said. And I feel like that anchored it a little bit more. And then there's something I can like highlight or put something important at the top and then list things here. And so, yeah, I did that to all of them. And that feels better to me. So, yeah, I just wanted to show like I did that just to kind of make it feel a little bit more finished. And then I also, I put the numbers of my cycle that I'm pretty sure they're going to be that in a couple weeks since I just started a cycle. And then there were some little measurement lines here I kind of erased, so I won't be drawing those in every time. I was just measuring those out. But then trying to figure out, I have 3 boxes wide, but I have 2 that I want to display. So then I thought, well, maybe I could be drawing on the line instead of filling up the boxes. That's something I'm going to have to test this week, that I actually jump into this. So I cleaned this up just a little bit, indicated what was going to go where. It's still identical to what I pretty much do in here. Let's see. To show, like, there aren't 3 boxes wide here. It's the same size as 3 boxes wide. So I just kind of draw on the lines, and I may do that. But I'm not going to draw in these like divider lines. It's going to be too busy that way. So yeah, I feel like sticking to, you know, a similar layout, and again, changing it up as I need it. So I'll let you know how this goes. I do iterate slowly on things, and it really does help to stay in one book. And I think after personalizing it, you know, it's still very lightly personalized, but I feel like this feels like a home now. I know a lot of other people do a lot more. That's just not my style, just because I keep it pretty minimal, because I love the design of it. I like when the design kind of shows through. I don't know. That's just me. And I'll see if like maybe in March I can kind of let you know how it's going. Because it does help to see how things went, to see what I've switched up, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's it. And again, I will plop that in there when it's time. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing and seeing some of my other work, my other videos and stuff. And if you really like this one, like it, because it might help bring up more stuff like this. Take care, everyone. I will see you next time. Bye.